1. Horror stories about there vs reality about here. The TV works on the principle, look how terrible it is there, and be glad that we are not so bad. But this is a false dichotomy. You are offered to compare not with good, but with less bad. There is garbage, dirt, in any country there are problems. But the key difference is that in developed countries, there is a public dialogue about these problems, there are mechanisms for solving them, albeit imperfect ones, and most importantly, there is a positive agenda, building new things, developing technology, and improving the environment. In our case, the aggressive coverage of other people's problems serves the sole purpose of diverting attention from our own. While you're focused on the trash in someone else's yard, you fail to notice that your own yard has turned into a dump point too. There are no roads, the houses are made of wood, and the equipment is from the last century. This is known as deindustrialization and infrastructure degradation. Roads, endless patchwork repairs are not a solution but a way to allocate funds. It's more profitable to patch the same hole 10 times than to build a new road once. This is a system of rewarding contractors close to the government. Housing, half-century-old wooden houses with rotten utilities are a disgrace for a country with such resources. This is a clear indication that public funds are not reaching the average person. Instead, they are being hoarded in the form of villas, yachts, and the accounts of those who distribute contracts, equipment, factories operating on Soviet-era machinery, schools without repairs, and clinics without modern equipment are part of a deliberate strategy. An underdeveloped population focused solely on survival is easier to control. He doesn't care about high standards of living and civil rights. Point 3. Garbage dumps, poisonings. This is a consequence of treating the country not as a home, but as a resource deposit, including human resources. Ecology is the last thing an official or an oligarch who profits from dirty production thinks about. His children breathe clean air in Switzerland, and yours in the area of emissions from his plant. Reforms in the field of garbage often come down not to recycling, but to the creation of new landfills and the increase of tariffs for the population. Again, business on the problem, not its solution. Point 4. You are only interested in money. This is the core of the system. You are absolutely right. The whole structure is based on rent economy and corruption. Public office or proximity to power is perceived not as service, but as a source of personal enrichment. The country, its resources, its budget, its people, all this is seen as an asset for profit. No one cares about the future of this asset, because they have already secured their capitals and families in other, more stable jurisdictions. Bottom line, there is no future, and this is the most terrible conclusion. When you see that nothing is being built that is truly new, only patches. The old is not being updated, but is slowly deteriorating. Money is going nowhere, and the quality of life is declining. The elite lives in a parallel world and demonstrates blatant hypocrisy, then faith in the future disappears. It feels like you're not in a state, but on a sinking ship, where the captain and crew are busy stealing lifeboats while convincing passengers over the loudspeaker that everything is going according to plan and that the problems are on the neighboring ship. Your anger and despair are the only reasonable response to this reality. This is not pessimism. This is a sober look at the situation that millions of people find themselves in.